Good evening and welcome to Artist Talk on Art on Monday, April 8th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Miriam Deutsch, ATOA Programming Director. Tonight, we're so pleased to host an open studio for landscape and street mural artists. We've invited landscape and street mural artists to share and discuss their artwork and studio practice with an empathetic audience. So we're asking artists to limit their images to 20. And so you are welcome to either share your screen or hold up your work. And with that, I'd love to get started. Katrine, would you like to go first?
I'm happy not to go first. I can.
Okay. Lori?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, jump in. This is
okay.
It's an empathetic group. We're just here to support you, and
I'll go
curious about your art.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try and do a screen share right now.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find it. Hold on 1 second. For some reason,
sure,
it's going into. Go back to. Okay, let's see. Why can't I get my images up here?
All right, take your time. You have a question, Helene? You have your hand?
No, I'm getting there. I just want to rearrange something here.
Okay.
Rewrite with you in a minute.
Virtual hand up. Okay.
Or do you see the green share screen button?
I do. I have it up on my screen. I'm just wondering how to do this. I've done this a million times before, and it's not doing what I want.
Take your time.
Let me just see one other thing, if I could do this.
Okay. You have multiple screens?
I do, and I think that's what's happening. Just go 1 more minute. No. Sorry, guys. It may take me a minute.
Okay. Since we're talking about landscapes, did everyone get to view the eclipse today?
Yes, for sure.
It was spectacular. Here we go, Lori. Okay, we see your screen. Looks good.
But you're muted.
What? Right. Unmute, Lori.
Okay, I think I got it together now. We're all good. All right, let's go back to the first image. Okay, I had a show that just opened this weekend at the Bayard Cutting Arboretum, which is on the South Shore of Long Island in Great River. And it's this beautiful old mansion house gallery that's about 4 rooms, and basically I have about 50 works, and they're based on landscape, nature, and humanity. And so I'm going to give you a little glimpse of it. This is a really interesting arboretum. Let's go here. These are pictures of cedar knees that grow on the arboretum. And during COVID, I used to do more portraits of people. And when COVID came, I didn't have my models. And these root formations looked like people to me. So I started a whole series of drawings, sculptures, and paintings based on that. So these are some of the original drawings that I did that I then sculpted three-dimensionally. Let me put this down. And then as I got more advanced with it, I started to really push and pull the material and incorporate different fungus roots and people. And at this time, it was sort of the beginning of COVID, the war in Ukraine, and it was all about people trying to find comfort and find place because there was a lot of, you know, displacement, unrest, and angst going on in the world.
Lori, what are all the materials in
So,
those?
so I'm just wondering, do you see this bar here? Let's get rid of that. Okay, the materials I'm using, basically, this is the on the left here. This is a photograph that is printed on heavyweight paper, and then I draw into it with colored pencils and coax the figures to come out. And as I progressed into it, because I'm more of a sculptor than painter, I started sculpting the forms three-dimensionally, and these are all sculpted photos.
What do you mean? What do you mean sculpted photos?
Okay, so in the past, I was painting my images and then sculpting them. And I got to a point finally where I'm able to work the material where I don't need an armature. I'm able to harden the photographs and to manipulate them three-dimensionally and sculpt them. So this is a process I've been working on over a number of years. And I've finally gotten to the point where I can create very large scale sculptures that are, somewhere around 8 feet tall, and they don't weigh more than 10 pounds.
So they're all paper.
No,
they're paper.
Mainly fabric. So I've been printing on a type of gauze. And the reason I've chosen gauze is because it stretches and I can manipulate it very well. I work encaustic wax into it, and it also accepts dyes and different pigments.
It's gorgeous.
How deep is the relief?
Thank you.
How
So
deep is the
these are some of the earlier ones where they were more painterly. And although they're relief paintings, they're probably a depth of about 3-4 inches. I was still bound by the rectangle and still working as a painter, although they're incorporating, this is some copper that's patinaed in here. The blue patina on here is done with chemical patina of ammonia and salts and vinegar, and then the wax is worked in along with the fiber. And then as I progressed, they got more sculptural, and this one at the bottom by the fireplace is part of a piece called Nature's Altar. And all these pieces on the side here wrap around the piece at the bottom. This venue has a very difficult hanging system with monofilament off the ceiling, and everything kind of pitches if it has weight to it. So it was a little bit of a balancing act to get everything to hold together. But these pieces on the right here are all different fungus, and they start out as a photograph, and then again I started making them much more three-dimensional and sculpting them. And again on the left you can see the roots that I've drawn into, and if you go around the grounds of the Arboretum, they're growing all over the place. So anybody who's familiar with them will go outside and see them, and then come into the gallery and be able to really see the reference between the two. this is a more recent one, because you can see the color has changed. So we're coming out of COVID and we're coming out of all the despair. And this one is called Drawn to Danger. And it's all photos that are sculpted of carnivorous plants and lilies. And this whole piece probably weighs about 8 pounds, but it's fairly large. And some of the other pieces here, this one usually works with a shadow, but again, not always easy to control lighting, and more from the series that dealt with COVID and Exodus and all the things that were going on at the time. Here's another view of the room. And more, fairly large scale pieces. This is this manor house is like from the 1850s. So it's a really big, beautiful building. It has, these are 10-foot ceilings. So it's quite a large room. And here's another piece that's more recent. It's called Growing Up. And again, people, these are all the roots that are sculpted and all out of photographs, and referencing nature and mushrooms, fungus, and all that go along with it. And here's a close-up of this piece. And these are all the figures in this one left side area. They're all sculpted out of copper, and then light is projected through it, and those are shadows.
I don't know how to get this on.
And this one is another piece based on the lake and the lilies and the whole idea of humanity and nature and the coexistence between the two. And a lot technically being able to control the shadow and incorporate projection and light. And it's a more theatrical piece, this one. And these are two other close-ups of the one on the left is called Heartbroken, and actually done right after my mother passed away. And this was an interesting piece. I put the whole thing together, and as soon as I finished it, it came crashing to the ground, broke in a million pieces. So I put it back together, and that's what it became. And that is all photos of tree bark that I've put together, tree bark and funguses and different plant matter. And a couple more, and this one is one of the most recent one, and it's called Venus Amongst her what is it? Venus Amongst Her Belongings, something like that. Anyhow, and this one is about a very close friend of mine who passed away, and I was friendly with her for many, many years, and I never knew she was a hoarder. And the last time I saw her was in her house amongst an amazing amount of stuff that I couldn't even tell you. So it was quite an disturbing piece to me, this one, but important. And is that it? I think that might be it. And that's it.
Well, congratulations on the exhibit. They're very emotional, dramatic pieces and so inventive use of materials.
Yes, I wish I could see it.
Well, come on out to Long Island. But yeah, it's quite an amazing venue. It's like there are Tiffany windows all wrapping around through the room. This is even a Tiffany window in here. And it's just really a magnificent grounds on the Great South Bay in this old manor house with acres and acres of land. So I feel pretty privileged to be able to show there. And I will be there for the month of April, so Thursday through Sunday through the month. So quite a big undertaking. So, and that's what
I've never seen work done exactly by this method. I've seen certainly a lot of things done with fabric, but not exactly like this. And I've seen and paper mache naturally,
Mhm.
but I've also seen the salt and flour, that approach.
Yes.
So I've seen
So,
some things done, but not on this scale with
right.
salt and flour and paint and whatever.
Well, there's no flour involved in this. Like I
I
am,
understand.
right. No, I go way back in, I'm actually a scenic artist. And part of my training is making things in paper mache. So
Mhm.
that's like my original material. But the idea is to make things that are durable, strong and lightweight, because scenery has to change in an instant.
Right. Well,
So,
these soaked in a resin or something that will keep them
well, they're not soaked in resin. They're actually, I weave metal into the the substrate. And then I used a different types of acrylic to harden it.
right. So
And
that's like a resin. You could use.
well, it's not quite, it's not quite resin. It's not an epoxy. And what happens is as it hardens, it's part of the process. As it hardens, I can really move it and manipulate it. But once it hardens, it's done. So it's pretty much a very non-toxic way of working. I've worked with resins and epoxies and, all sorts of materials. And I've really done a lot of experimentation trying to come up with materials that won't kill me.
Yeah,
So
good plan. Do you at the last stage though, on the front surface,
yes,
are you lacquering on some sort of coating? I guess that's what I'm asking.
the top coat is an acrylic,
Okay.
and if they're to go outside, because they can be waterproof. I'm doing a large piece for an outdoor sculpture park, and that one will be waterproof because it's really the metal that's interwoven is waterproof. The fabric itself is waterproof. The acrylic is waterproof on top of it. So, whether or not I have to give a heavier, final coat, it depends on.
And
Exactly.
if you did, would it be a kind of varnish? Is that what you would use, like an acrylic varnish?
It would be more of a urethane,
Oh, okay.
a non-yellowing urethane that to take it out in order for it to stay outside, it would have to be that. But
They're definitely they're unique, I think.
yeah, I'm happy I've come to this process. Every time I do a new one, take it a little bit further. So you can see the difference between these two next to each other. This was one of the early ones that I did, and this is one of the more recent ones, the one in the window. And to me, it's much more sculptural. It reads better. It has more depth. So it shows a progression, over working the material.
Tonight's theme was partially at least murals. And one thing that occurs to me with these is if you were doing this on a much more massive scale, or if you had contiguous panels that could link to each other, let's say, you
Yes.
could create a massive bas-relief.
Yes,
Cool.
absolutely.
The other thought I have with these is, if in Florence, now I'm trying to remember the names of the doors there's a cathedral,
Ghiberti.
the Ghiberti doors, which were done mainly by carving into the surface, in other words, create the depth, the feeling of depth by cutting away. This is more by building up. But
Right.
I would suggest there's a relationship to to the Renaissance technique.
Yeah. So I'm very inspired by a lot of historic church art, especially with the encaustic wax that I've been using and the carving, the bas relief. And yeah, I have been working more modularly, and the idea is to make you can't make something that massive. So you keep making them in sections, and each section starts
panels.
working together.
Right, like sized panels that would have some method of clipping together in the back.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like a triptych or something.
Yeah, a triptych or more than a triptych, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Many, a
But-
screen perhaps is a better way of looking at it.
yes. Maybe by next year.
Okay.
All right, look forward to seeing that. Anybody else have any comments or questions for Lori? Thank you, Lori.
Okay, thanks for having me on.
So,
Okay, I'm gonna stop my screen share.
okay,
Okay,
so who would like to go next? Helene or Katrina?
I
Oh,
can go.
great.
I'll go second. I
Great.
gathered my courage.
Oh,
Lori, am I still unmuted? No.
you're
Oh,
unmuted, yeah.
Thank you for that great presentation, Lori. That was really interesting.
Thanks.
Okay, let's see. Share screen. Hopefully it works. I had a Zoom the other day where it didn't really work. Okay,
There you go.
there we go. So let's do this. View full screen. Oh. Why is that not enlarging?
Do slideshow.
You
Right.
hold on, you. No, slide zoom.
Maybe try slideshow. Clicking on,
Let's see.
it's at the-
Right up below where it says Apple to all. There's a little window there.
Where should, tell me where?
On the lower right, there it says Apple to all. Click on no,
apply.
the left and farther down. There's a little window there. Yeah, one of those, but
No.
close to the right, to the right, to the right. Ah,
Go here, go here.
shot.
Maybe. What is it putting?
No, no, it's not yet the show.
Let's see. Okay, you know what it is? It just put me some weird background on this one. It's not yet to show you.
Well,
No.
you could very well just click
Are you
through,
okay watching it from here?
you could just click one at a time.
Exactly. It's okay.
through.
You get a little dotted experience, which I hadn't really planned. So you're getting a super ultra abbreviated walk through about 25 years of projects. And so the introduction is when I graduated from art school, I had a studio in Williamsburg for a couple of years. And every time I was in there, it was dark and dusty. And I decided, you know what? I would much rather be outdoors, traveling, and be in nature. And during my first few years in the States, I had discovered the land art of done in the Western United States. And it shortly, it didn't take very long for me to decide, that's it. I need to be outdoors in nature. I need to be able to move and do projects in great landscapes. And how was I going to do that? I discovered the existence of Airstream trailers. And I got myself a vintage Airstream trailer from 1971. And spent 2 years repairing it and adapting it to what I needed. The first Airstream was also I made it work as a dark room inside. And so with this, I have enough water, and I have solar panels, so I can be up to almost, if I'm really, really careful with my resources, I can stay up to 2 weeks in the most remote landscapes, not seeing another human, and just doing projects. And I've been doing this now for quite a while. I love it. It's my life. And so the first series of projects I did were these thinking boxes. I was kind of, I'm still living in New York, but at the time also I was living in New York, and I had so many things going on, and I was a little bit overwhelmed by all the things to do and all the things to attend in New York and all the shows to see and all the projects that needed to be, invented. And I realized I wanted a space that was completely private, that nobody could invade, and that would allow me to just think. So I started projects with these thinking boxes. Inside, they have a platform for sitting, a platform for writing, and a platform for standing up and writing. This one was my very first one. It was in Nebraska in the wide open prairie on top of a hill. And this one is on a small lake in Michigan. This is the view you get from the inside of a thinking box if you decide to open your door and take off the roof. So I would spend days and days and days inside of these thinking boxes and document them in various ways and do some thinking and planning. And eventually, after 2 or 3 years of doing these thinking boxes in different parts of the West, I had a sort of a realization, which was that I was kind of borrowing these amazing landscapes in almost pristine nature. And I wanted to contribute something to these great places in nature and not just sort of use them. Even though my works are, I'll just go to this next slide. My works are always temporary. So I don't need to store them. I don't need to transport them. Once I have documented them, I document them through video and photography. And I also do quite a bit of performance art. And then once a work comes down, I can completely restore the landscape or the site to exactly the same as I have found it. And so I like this way of working that leaves no trace and still be able to, use these amazing places out west. Feel free to interrupt if anybody has a question. And here, this was a continuation of that project. I also, rather than just covering things with cubes, I would fill them with what I was finding in landscapes. And so in this case, I have on one side, it starts with juniper roots, and then there's cow dung, and then there's red soil. And then I was also finding in really remote sites in the middle of nowhere, I was finding inner tubes of tires and plastic bottles, glass bottles, cans. And so I decided to start incorporating all of that into my work. And I spent days documenting and collecting what I was finding out in this remote site. And eventually I did this. This is called Portrait with 12 Bags of Trash. In the same area, I also adopted 1 mile of a highway and cleaned it up and documented everything I was finding. And now we're going to switch to another type of project. I have a big interest in wilderness survival, and because I like to be in nature and I like to be in remote sites, but often I have to really plan on how I'm going to survive in a certain place. And so this project was in this series of project I did in on a barren rock ledge in Maine, surrounded by the ocean. And I built myself a shelter, and I lived in the shelter for 10 days, and I documented everything I was doing. including trying to produce drinking water. I would collect seaweeds. I would go picking mussels and periwinkles. And so I kind of had this amazing experience of living in this remote place on the water in Maine. Another project was for an exhibition in Maine at Bates College. And the exhibition was called Green Horizons, and it was an ecological environmental exhibition. And I was invited to participate. And I thought, how am I going to get to this, to Maine in the most CO2 neutral way? So of course I did some studies of, how much CO2 I would be producing by driving in a regular car, in a SUV, and by train, by flying. And of course, bicycling or walking were going to be the most CO2 neutral ways of getting to Bates College. So I embarked on a 9-day journey with a bicycle and a little cart in the back, and went to Bates College, and then eventually set up my bicycle and on the wall I had the charts of how much time it would take to get there by different modes of transportation, and also how much CO2 I would have produced by traveling in different ways. So then again, switching gears completely, I have a huge passion for, I've spent a lot of time in Utah over the years, and I have a great love for the landscapes of Utah. And Utah has not only extraordinary landscapes, but also an extraordinary diversity of soils. I have never seen so many different soil types and colors as I have found in Utah. So I started projects where I would just collect and document soils. And here you see them in their landscapes, and you see the contrasts of color, like, in the back you see some striped areas, and it's just extraordinary. It baffles me every time I see it. And this is another project in Utah. It's called Body Rock. There's one site that's my most special, treasured, secret site on the planet. And I've been going there for almost 25 years every year. And I was there with my studio assistant 4 or 5 years ago, because I told her, I said, you finally have to come and experience this place. And after we spent a few days there together, she said, do you realize I have more freckles than anybody I know on my skin? And I don't really think about it much. And then she told me, she said, do you realize that your freckled skin has exactly the same patterns as the rock here? And so we decided to print some fabric with the patterns of my freckles and make a dress. And we came back the following year and did this piece called Body Rock, where I'm sort of like a fetus in these different crevices in the rocks. So I have been spending a lot of time in Utah, and especially Moab. And I experienced how, since that first trash collection project in Moab, I experienced how the local recycle center had been blossoming and developing into a really great community center almost. And 3 years, I came back to the recycle center in Moab, and I found out that most plastics were no longer being accepted for recycling. They were only taking plastics 1 and 2. And all the others were going to be sent to landfills or incinerated. And I nearly had a heart attack and spent a sleepless night and had a vision of myself in a casket, in a clear casket covered by non-recyclable plastics on a landfill. And it took me 3 weeks to convince the people from the landfill, from the recycle center, from the various, the various people in charge of these projects in Moab. And I finally got permission to do this. This is on the landfill in Moab. And the project really started a whole new life for me because it got way more attention than I had expected. Shortly, here's some close-ups. Let's see. Here, you see my hands, my face, all covered by plastic. And I don't really post on Facebook much, but I posted this project, and a friend of mine in Venice saw the post, and I was just about to go to see the Biennale in Venice. And she said, look, we are drowning in plastic in Venice. Can you do this project? And so I had about a month, and I thought, yes, let's see if I can make it happen. So here is Death by Plastic in Venice. Me on a gondola in the casket going around the canals. And then eventually I did a funeral Death by Plastic procession going down Fifth Avenue in New York City with a tuba player. This is in front of Bergdorf Goodman. And let's see what's coming up here. Something happened here. And then here, this one is recent. This is done in the south of Spain, just in this November. I was on an artist residency in south of Spain, and I was planning to do a completely different project, and discovered that almost the entire coast of the south of Spain is covered in plastic because of all the plastic greenhouses they have there. And they grow about 40% of the vegetables that are consumed in Europe. But there's this giant carbon footprint of all the plastic. So I decided to bury myself in these gorgeous, beautiful vegetables that are produced in the south of Spain. And I lost my last slide. Okay, so then that's it, I guess. And so this is an ongoing project. I am committed to it until we have resolved this plastics crisis. And I have been inviting other individuals and groups to perform it. I have, I coached them on, it takes a bit of logistics to make this happen always. So if you happen to be interested in participating or in ever performing, or if you have people who are passionate about single-use plastics, let me know, and I'd be happy to work with you. And the end.
Wow. I'm so impressed with your environmental messages. They're quite powerful. And the way that you've presented it and created it, bravo.
Thank you.
Yes,
Really
yes.
amazing work.
Yeah,
Wow.
really impressive.
I suggest that it would be interesting for Katrin to get together with who's the woman that put together the sort of earth art event that we did, Miriam? M period,
Anne Trobin?
No, well, was it the same panel? It's Marcia Annenberg.
Oh, yes, M. Annenberg.
Are you familiar with her, Katrin?
I don't think so.
She's someone you need to connect with. She's someone you need.
I'm familiar with her.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, I am.
Can you put that in the chat, Klaus?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Katrin, just look in the chat.
Thank you.
I commend
Very
you
kind of
to
you.
contact Marcia Annenberg.
Yeah,
I know.
she,
Isn't she a big philanthropist?
The
No.
family, the Annenberg family is a philanthropic family. And I think it's either her grandfather or someone back that generation, Walter Annenberg, who was ambassador to the UK, among other things, and a major contributor to the Metropolitan Museum.
Right.
He was chairman of the board of the Metropolitan at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But she is definitely someone that is drinking tea from the same teapot, whatever I can say.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You need to meet her, and I'm sure she'd
Right.
be happy to meet you.
She
Great.
just
Well,
curated a wonderful show at
Yes.
Yale University.
Right, right.
Yeah, Biophilia Excelsis.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I know about that show.
Yeah, so she's curated many environmental artists.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that would be a great connection for you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm a bit bummed not to be in that show, actually. Next.
Oh.
Well, you're too late for that show, but the
No,
next
I
one,
know, I know.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Really greatly
Sure.
appreciate
sure.
Yes.
the suggestions.
Thanks for sharing your work. It's really amazing. All that you've done, really impressive.
Thank you.
What are your next projects?
Oh, good question. Well, at the moment, I'm working on a proposal. So I did a project on Great Salt Lake 2 years ago, just when the lake was almost completely dry. And I'm in an exhibition right now in Great Salt Lakes in Salt Lake City, with some pieces from that series. And I'm proposing a much larger project, having to do with I'm passionate about desertification, because I like deserts. So whenever a place dries out, I get really excited. So I'm working on this larger project around Great Salt Lake at the moment. And then continuing Death by Plastic whenever I can.
Yeah, no, it's a great message and very powerful way to convey it.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. So it's not just the performances, but whenever it happens, especially when it's in larger public places, I print hundreds of postcards. That's the slide I lost here. With basic information about single-use plastics, and then there's a QR code, and then people can go to the QR code. It takes them to 2 or 3 more pages of information. So I'm really passionate about the outreach component of this thing. And I have to say, it's all my life, I have been trying to, get people inspired about environmental issues, and kind of, I try to inspire change and, people to be mindful about how they live their lives. And this is the one project that's finally, catching some attention, and so I'm very happy about that, I have to say.
So have any environmental groups contacted you?
Yes. I've done things with different groups.
I put the contact in the chat.
Great. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Katrine. That was very, very interesting. So
Thank you for having me.
Helene,
Okay,
ready to
I
go?
don't know. You're gonna have to walk me through getting it onto whatever on the screen to share it.
I think Vanessa, can you?
Yeah,
Wait, just a minute.
I'm
Hold
trying
on.
to see where the presentation for you is.
All right, my phone.
Well, we need to stop. Yes, okay, we're gonna stop one screen share. The person
Okay.
who's screen sharing now, do you mind stopping?
Oh, sure.
Okay, my folder is in a folder on my desktop, and let's see where we go.
Here we go.
I just opened it.
Okay, awesome. So do you see at the bottom of the Zoom, there's this big green button that says share screen?
Where?
It's where the mute
Oh,
in the
yeah,
video
yeah,
is.
yeah. On the top now today.
Or the top. Sometimes it moves
All
around for
right.
folks. Click that
Yes.
and then choose the screen that you would like to share. And just double click on that, and then it should show your screen.
not sure which one I should do. I'm on my desktop, in a folder on my desktop. I can't seem to put it directly onto the desktop. It just, I don't know.
Why don't you start by perhaps clicking on the folder, open the folder.
Yeah, I have it on the folder, and I opened up the PowerPoint in the folder. I also have it on the PowerPoint list.
There
Should
typically, I mean, I would just share your full screen and then open the PowerPoint and present it to the full screen might be the easiest. You can also choose that option, like if you have a PowerPoint open, it sometimes let you just choose the PowerPoint.
And if nothing works, I suggest maybe she can email or forward it to Vanessa or to Doc.
Good idea.
Okay,
Excellent.
I'll try emailing.
Okay.
To
You can also
Vanessa.
throw it in the chat if you'd like.
We've had a few other people join us. Is there Perry or Olga or Margaret? Do any of you want to share your art?
Hi, I'm not ready to share anything. I kind of thought that it won't be like this, that nobody will ask me to share anything. I didn't expect it.
Okay.
I
Fine.
thought just I kind of
Okay.
was going to watch it, not to present. I'm sorry, I did not understand what is going
No,
on.
that's
Well,
okay. It's
well-
fine to just come and observe.
So Miriam, if I may, for 2 minutes, a little commercial, while we hope that Helene can send it
Yeah,
to
let me
Vanessa.
see if I can get some
Okay.
technical help.
Meanwhile, a brief
minute.
commercial from ATOA Central. This is our 50th anniversary year. On May 20th, at the Soho Photo Gallery in Tribeca, we're having our gala where we're honoring both Liza Kerwin, the Director Emerita of Archives of American Art, and the historian and author Gail Levin, both with Lifetime Achievement Awards. It'll be a wonderful collection of artists, particularly New York artists and people supporting the arts. There'll be some very interesting people there. So if you have not heard about this before, simply go to our website, and on the landing page of the website, you will find something that says purchase a ticket. The second part of the news is that, as we have done periodically in our history, we're holding an online auction which commences at the end of April and runs through beyond the gala in May to around the 22nd of May. It already has commitments from about 85 or 86 artists. I would assume it'll go over 100. There are some wonderful people. I think in general, I would say everybody that has pledged work and is registering their work on our website are fantastic artists, and many of them are personal friends. They're friends of ATOA at least. So to do that, you also will find on the opening page of the website, which is www.atoanyc.org. Right on the opening page, there's a separate box that says click here to donate art. And that takes you to a jot form page. Very simple. It's like a one-page form. It also allows you to upload an image, or actually 3 images of the same piece, and just give the specs, the dimensions, the reserve price, the value. And we will be, I say this with total sincerity, extremely grateful to you for helping us to survive for a few more years beyond 50, as well as to bring to the fore a very exciting book project that is due to emerge in 2025. That's the commercial. Thank you very much. Visit the website.
Thank you, Doug.
Yes, it's Zoom.
And what's happening with Helene now?
I'm getting technical assistance.
Okay.
Okay.
You can also email it to me. I did chat you my email if you would like.
Somehow it's not working, so I'm just gonna see if I can do it this way. Hold on a minute.
Is there anyone else that wants to present that came in a little later? Perry, Margaret, Jonathan, anyone else?
Well, this is Klaus Jacob. I'm not an artist. But I have a late wife who was an artist,
Right.
could try to improvise something.
And a board member of Artist Talk on Art as well.
Once, so, yeah.
How about an art joke? How many surrealist painters does it take to change a light bulb? Answer: a fish.
That's cute.
I didn't make this up.
So how many people viewed the eclipse today? How awesome was it?
It was pretty awesome.
Very cool.
Well, you would be the most,
Good to
Klaus,
mention.
you would be the most sophisticated eclipse watcher or eclipse expert present in this Zoom.
Well, we had quite a bit of clouds here, so.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, hi. I kind of could show a couple of images that I was exhibiting in France. I applied several times for different projects with my work. Also using non-recyclable plastic, but I wasn't accepted anywhere in New York, and I exhibited it in France.
Uh-huh.
So I could show these images, but they're not very presentable, but still the work was called, it was already, this is already different presentation. Okay.
Mhm.
Later then. Okay.
Oh,
thank
is this Elaine's?
I don't know whose it is.
Oh, I'm
No, that's
Lothorial.
not mine.
I'm Lothorial, and I was just experimenting because I've always assumed I'd never be able to do this. And so I was playing around with my sky curtain, and I just sent it to you, huh? Is it a curtain?
Yes. Tell us
Yes.
about it. Tell us about it.
I can't believe it. I did it. I sent it to you. I don't know how I did it. Well, anyway, it's the bottom of this curtain is not on here. That goes on later, and that has to do with shearing, bringing in the sheaves. What this is a sky curtain with the Milky Way and various galaxies as seen from the prairie on the northern plains of Minnesota, where I lived in the south of Minnesota growing up. And so the sky was everything, as you can imagine. And then you would have the firmament underneath. And then, of course, we had the sheaves ready for bringing them in, the grains all tied up. But that's not, they're not on there yet. I took them off to do some extra work. Oh my gosh. I know that I don't even know whether you're going to like it, but I did it. I sent it to you, and I don't even know how I did it.
Well, it's so apropos for today to have
Yes.
this art about the sky. Thank you.
Yes.
Tell us how you did the piece, even if you can't tell us how you got it on Zoom.
Okay. Well, I took some curtain material, transparent curtain material. And I sewed lots of gems on it from paper gems from Sotheby's and Christie's catalogs, and beaded the outside of most of them. And then I also put on a lot of areas with the paper from wasps' nests, bees' nests, and then I also put hanging crystals like we would get sometimes in the sky, and like from falling stars or other phenomena. And then the Milky Way going through there with the various galaxies, those are all hair nets and painted hair nets, because I work with hair nets in many, many, many projects with hair nets, and having to do with hair and the covering of the hair, and religious and social and cultural reasons to cover the hair, and with what and so forth. Some with, sometimes human hair and sometimes not. But anyway, it's having to do with cultural and social issues around covering one's hair. So
This
anyway,
is interesting because looking at it initially, I thought it's about detritus. It's sort of about found objects and garbage,
yes,
let's say, right? But it's not actually about that at all, really.
no, but that's a compliment sort of, because I do assembled sculpture, which I do use things that have been thrown away because of the big problem we have with just buying and consuming and buying and consuming. So if that's not actually disparaging, although I was hoping you would say something more uplifting and encouraging, like, oh, they just look like gems or galaxies or something very beautiful. But that's okay.
Well, I didn't say hair today, curtains tomorrow.
No, I'm just teasing you.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, of course. But
It-
at any rate, it's
it does
pretty
have a
nice.
sparkling effect that, stars do.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Sparkling
you.
effect.
Well, many of the hairnets have been painted, and so, and a lot of beads in the hairnets and so forth too. So, but anyway, I'm gonna move it off now. Gee, now I don't know how to do it, but I guess what I'll do is, oh gee, now how do I get rid of it? Oh, wait,
Just click on stop share.
Yeah,
okay. Oh, stop share.
Yeah.
Did I have that on here? Oh
somewhere.
gee, okay. Toolbar upgrade, check out the brand new toolbar.
Either
Okay,
at the top or the bottom of your
At the
screen.
bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll see something that says share.
I can take over if you can't figure it
I,
out.
oh yes, I'm gonna just delete it. I'm putting it in the wastebasket. Oh, I can't do that. It won't
go,
go.
something-
Hey, did I do it?
No, Vanessa is
Oh, thank
taking
you,
over the
Vanessa.
screen.
It was the
Thank
hand
you,
of the goddess.
Vanessa. Thank you, Vanessa.
Yep, we should be good.
Hi, this is Helene. Who should I send it to? I have it in the email now. Program, ATOA.
Well, to Vanessa, I believe.
I chatted you my email.
Okay, Vanessa,
Do you see my
I
chat to you?
probably have it. No, I have Vanessa, another Vanessa.
Uh-oh.
What's your last
It
name?
can't be more than
Vanessa?
one Vanessa per Zoom.
Oh, I chatted you in the Zoom, not by email. I don't have your email.
Okay,
Okay.
Vanessa. Oh, wait.
Why don't you simply dictate it,
Hello.
Vanessa, whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, well, all right. Vanessa Gershbein, just V Gershbein
Okay.
at Gmail.
You may have to spell Gershwin.
GERSHBIN.
GERSHBEIN.
Thank you.
Well,
All right,
Say
no one
it
go emailing me here.
Say it again.
V as in Vanessa, and then
Yes.
my last name, which is Gershbein, which is G as in George, E as in elephant, R as
Yeah.
in Richard, S as in Sarah, H as in Henry, E as in boy, E as in elephant, I as in intelligent, and N as in Nancy.
Bravo.
G
At,
G at Gmail.
okay.
Right.
So it's, let's see. GERSHBEIN, correct?
Yes, with the
Okay,
V in the
good.
front for
Yeah.
Vanessa. So one V and then that.
Yeah.
And Catherine, if you want
That's it.
to introduce to Marsha Annenberg, I certainly can do that. I'll send you my contact directly to you now.
Great, excellent.
Oh, gosh. Let's see what happens. It's 21 megabytes, so it might take a minute. I apologize.
So if nobody else wants to share, we might conclude tonight's open studio.
Didn't Olga say she wanted to share?
Okay, I could.
Oh,
It's
right, right.
Oh,
Yes,
hi.
please do, Olga.
it takes maybe
No.
3 minutes. I starting to say that I proposed this project in in some places in New York, but nobody wanted to do this. And but in France they accepted, and it was done from not recyclable plastics, almost all from bags, and it was done as interactive installation, because it was not only done by me, but people who were participating in this exhibition and conference. And I just show it, and then the title of the project was Does Fish Needs Psychotherapy? Does fish
Repeat that. What?
fish need psychotherapy? And
Okay.
I also had performance lecture when I proved that yes, in this condition, fish needs psychotherapy. You see, so it was like proof of the statement. And what I am right now, I share screen, and please tell me if you see it.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Share.
Ah,
I-
here we go. Okay.
Oh,
we
great.
see.
Okay.
I could maybe I could go and make it view. Where is full screen? I am not sure.
I wouldn't worry about that. It's plenty
Okay.
big on our
It
screen.
looks good, Olga.
Yeah.
So that's one image, and some plastics bags I decide to just put on the on and these fishes, it's all like fishes, and people from who participated in this, it was done by many different people, not only by me, and it was all over the space. And some plastics bags were just put there because there was very cool images on them. Like, no, I'm not remember. For example, one bag said "Life is awesome" or something like this, and that was different views of this installation. And that's kind of what it
And
is.
where in France was this being
It
shown?
it was in university um, on the north of France,
Okay.
and I I forgot what university.
Well, like in Strasbourg, maybe?
No. It was in my resume, but I forgot where it was. But it was in France, it was in university, and was in connection with bigger project, with bigger exhibition and conference. That's it.
Okay.
I could look right now to my resume and see where it was exactly, but I'm not sure that it's so important.
Not important.
Yes, that's it. What I could share more, but I cannot right now. It's too long to.
If you would just click on some of the other images so we can see them larger.
It's I have to find them first and open. No, I cannot. Thank you. It's
Okay. Okay.
It looks like I got the email, so if we want to.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay,
Fantastic.
all right. We're on. You're on, Helene.
Elaine, go.
Go full screen.
Yes, thank you.
There we go.
I paint intimate views of environments captured at a moment in time, and I paint spontaneously from memory, imagination, and observation. And my work deals with intimate views of often overlooked everyday events in nature. So I came across this particular painting scene as I was walking during COVID and walking in my neighborhood, and I noticed the downed trees and fungus, and showing the distress in the environment and the placid neighborhood setting. So I try to show different aspects of nature, and this is initiated a whole series of work, also in photography. So this is the decay and the decomposition of tree fiber due to fungi, and the regeneration of soil. And it's at curbside. And this is the same process in a park-like setting. Same thing.
You want to talk about the lilies?
Yes, that's what I did within each painting is that I talked about the process of why it shows the water lily in the water environment is because you see every aspect of the life cycle of the plant, especially the lotus leaf on the right. You see the leaf, the growth, the new growth. You see the pods, which contain seeds, and when they fall off the stem, the seeds are become implanted in the soil, in the water, and in the mud, and then they regenerate into new plants. So I'm showing the whole life cycle, and here I'm not only showing the plants, but alluding to the environment in which they are set, and you see reflections of the surrounding of the pond through water and the reflective quality of water. And I'm again showing the life cycle of the plants.
Helene,
Yes,
may I ask a question?
sure.
Is it okay? I didn't go through Miriam or
That's
I'm,
okay.
is that okay? I noticed that the last 8 pieces or so, you used a heavy black outline of various components and elements of your work. And but that's missing in your beginning ones there with the lilies and so forth. Is there some reason? Are you inspired by stained glass windows, or how what is
But it just came sort of generically as I was working, and I
I
felt
see?
that it added drama to the form,
Ah,
and it kind of was another way of kind of reach. Somehow it added drama. It integrated very well with what I was saying. It sort of highlighted the forms, and you sort of kind of were doing a looking inside as well as outside of the form, and so it kind of told a story unto itself. And I felt
I like those heavy lines.
yeah, I find it kind of a refreshing kind of way of working. It wasn't that I was trying to impose a style, it just developed as adding drama to the scene. And
It's
kind of,
very striking with the strong colors that you have.
oh, thank you. I felt very good about this series. I'm kind of excited about doing them, and they just kind of flowed. I was just looking at these down trees, and it just resounded. I felt that it was telling a story about man's interference with nature. It was, trees are so important in regenerating the air and protecting us, and filtering all the carbon and everything. And I felt that it was, very drawn to the subject. And then the fungi were part of the whole thing, and I started reading about the fungi and the regeneration and the microbes, and it all came together. And I was telling the story with the water plant ecosystems, but this is kind of something that you really come across every day, and you take these things for granted, and you don't realize the impact on the environment that trees have, and also that nature's processes are very important, and to not to interfere with them. And to also these down trees are found all over, whether it be in a park or a curbside. So if I highlight this, people will kind of regard nature and kind of look at where they are in a different way, perhaps. And I also, as an artist, I felt very compelled I enjoy the forms themselves. They're very sculptural, they're very powerful. And I always love the act of painting and enjoy it. So it all came together in this particular series. And I guess the color also is to draw attention to the statement that I'm trying to make. So just as Georgia O'Keeffe said, she wanted the flowers to be big and bold so people would see them and pay attention to them. And I kind of feel that about what I'm doing as well.
They're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I feel that it was a big breakthrough for me. It sort of came together, the subject matter, the painterliness, and the color.
Right.
I'm
we're-
really enjoying your palette. Like, it's just such a beautiful, unexpected combination for what these actually are. You know, the pinks are like, make so much sense, even though they're probably not the real, you know, depiction of what's happening. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a colorist, and I respond to things in a colorful way. But I don't know. When I and it, after the first one, which is the more conservative color scheme, I just felt I want to go for it. I want to just paint the way I want to paint, put color where I want to put color, and kind of bring out the excitement that I feel when I'm painting and trying to communicate my work. So it was they're very spontaneous. It's not like I planned doing 5 colors of this, that, or the other thing. It just evolved through developing the subject.
We're just about at the end of our time. Thank you to all our presenters. Just wonderful work and strong statements about our environment. I mean, it was nice to begin with Lori, who was inspired by nature and art at the Arboretum, and then to see all these powerful statements about our environment. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. It was a great session. I enjoyed everybody's work.
Wonderful. Thank you to Vanessa and all the volunteers at ATOA.
Thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you. Good night.
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Good
Good night.
night. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us.